Greetings and salutations, GeoNerds. In a recent video from Rob from Walkabout with Rob, he asked the question, why was Brisbane founded where it was? William Street, North Quay, Brisbane Riverbank, where it was there. And there are some geological reasons for that. So let's have a bit of an explore of that, and I'll play a little bit of Rob's clip because that is a really good video. You must catch it. Anyway, let's rock.
Have you ever wondered why Brisbane is, well, here? I mean, why not over that way or further upriver? Just who decided to put the city here? In this documentary, I'm going to find out the truth about who decided to put Brisbane here, but more importantly, why. He came around this side and saw this long kind of ridge of land. William Street is one of the highest areas of the CBD, at least around this area here, which meant that there was going to be above the floodwaters, any potential floods. Secondly, you could also expect to get some nice cool breezes, especially.
Well, folks, here we are, same height as Electric Jesus's Starlink satellites, 500 kilometres, just zooming over Brisbane. Just get a bit of a look down here. Have a look at the Brisbane River from 500 k's up. The Brisbane River's been here for a long time. There's been a river here for about 40 million years. This river's been in its current channel-ish for about 10 million years. However, it used to go through here. And they've got soundings, goes right out across the continental shelf, and you can see it leaving when sea levels were lower. And there are paleo shorelines out there that are 185 metres down. So this river was a flowing gusher back in those days. But that's not what we're looking at today. Just big picture stuff, since we're up here. And I found it while I was looking at the research for this. So let's go down and have a look at what Rob was talking about, which is specifically the William Street Ridge. But here it is here, this little bit old metadata here, but hey, it does the job. The big picture never changes. We're going to go down here. Here's the commissary store, that place. Anyway, this is where it all started. Well, it all started if your skin's white, but if your skin isn't white, it probably started here. So yes, our Indigenous people have been here for a very long time, could be 40,000 years, and they had another name for this place, Meanjin. Just that place though. You know, you hear all this in the press like, oh, they're going to rename Brisbane to Meanjin. No, they're not, because it's not its name, all right? Every part of Brisbane had a different name. Kumbukapa, Wooloonkappam, wonder what that turned into. There they are. That was recorded in the 1840s, probably by Tom Petrie, I'm not sure. But anyway, so yes, these are all the different names, and Meanjin is definitely the place where the colonials started. Now, William Street is pretty high. Here's a topo. You can see that light yellow line through there. It's of the city itself. Meanjin is one of the highest places. It's actually 10 metres above the river, which is pretty high. That'll get you out of all the floods in Brisbane. Might get you islanded up a bit, but that's it. But why? Why is it like that? Well, let's have a bit of a macro look at this. Here we have some rock. This is Brisbane tuff. We know that. We've come across it before, GeoNerds. That's 200 million years old-ish. We're going to round stuff up today. Right? This is the Narranlee Fernvale Formation of shales, 500 million years old. This is the Brisbane Phyllite, 500 million years old. And this is the North Pine Fault. Well, look at that, runs parallel to that ridge. Let's have a look and see, because when you look at this structure, there's some strange stuff going on here. That Brisbane tuff is 200 million years old. The fault doesn't go through it. There's no cracks through it. There's no fault line through it. Here's a side look at it. Thought I'd give you a bit of an oblique look. And here's the fault coming in, runs right under Maryvale Street, right under the Mater Hospital, in fact. Right through there, and that ridge runs parallel to it. Now this river looks like it's meandering, but I assure you rivers do not meander in solid rock, because it wasn't solid rock. Now this is a big view of the North Pine Fault system. The bit down our end here, the fault system means it's not just one fault, there's dozens of them, but the one down here, the Normanby Fault in Brisbane, is really something to look at. So what I'm going to do here is pull back to a big geology view. Now it's a bit complicated, but we'll make sense out of it. There's Brisbane down there, little ring going down there. I'm going to put our old mate up there because all the rock formations we're talking about here are either 500 million years old or 200 million years old today. Here's Sanford, to give you a bit of perspective of what we're talking about. Up here, there's Quay up the top there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little slippery dippery for you, because these formations line up. That is how far they've been offset. And I've measured that, it's 8.5 kilometres. Those formations are 200 million years old. That's about 0.5 millimetre every 10 years. But, geo-nerds, down here, they line up perfectly. They are not offset. So that is stretched 8.5 kilometres. That eastern side, which is heading north, has stretched 8.5 kilometres in 200 million years. Probably less than that. I don't have the detailed magnetics to tell me that. You need pole magnetics, and I don't have access to those things. We're geo-nerds in the end. You're going to make a good story. It's got to be based on fact. So you notice that tuff is not fractured. It's not broken, because that didn't move. However, a lot of things do move. This is an earthquake map of southeast Queensland, and you can see the fault line. It is just absolutely where all the earthquakes happen in southeast Queensland. Most of this you wouldn't feel. Some of it you do feel. It does happen. Not very often, though. I just thought I'd throw this up. This is a magnetic anomaly of southeast Queensland. So, yeah, there's some stuff going on here. Here's your Enoggera and your Camp Mountain and Sanford granodiorites. Here's that offset piece of granodiorite, split, 8.5 kilometres offset. And this is a big piece of basalt up at Quay, again, offset by 8.5 kilometres. So we think about this and go, hey, that's 8.5 k's, man, but it's 200 million years, you know. Well, let's have a look. Here's 200 million years. Where's Australia? Well, it's part of all that green goop down the bottom there. You can just see it taking shape there. When this gets closer to today, I'll slow it down a bit for you. So it's 130 million years. You're just getting all your Ipswich coal deposits and stuff starting to gook up a bit now. 100 million years, Cretaceous, starting to get all those dinosaurs up in central Queensland, all those dudes going on. See the big seas out there. Now, 60 million years ago, all coal. There's India smashing into the Himalayas there. Good on them. We're going to zoom in a bit now at 40 million, because at this point in time, there is a river here. Probably not the one that's there now, but there is a river here in the Brisbane, what we now know as the Brisbane Valley. Look at Australia heading north. Why? Well, 30 million there's our hotspots starting up. We're beaming over our hotspots, getting all our volcanics, our mainstream volcanics, our Mount Wollumbar, etc. happening. And 10 million years, about now, the Brisbane River is in its channel where it is today. So, you know, it gives you a bit of perspective. There's a lot been going on in the world while this river's just been chugging along down there. I find it amazing that rivers are very old features. And I've got a little map coming up here. It's slightly exaggerated, and I find it a little misleading, but it is very entertaining. This is Australia's elevation above sea level in metres, going back 130 million years. So you can see, you know, there's been a bit of movement, ups and downs. Sea level coming and going, by the way, is also affecting this. Sea level rising and falling. But Australia is also moving. The continent is being pushed along and it's floating. But the interesting bit happens towards the end. If you look on the right-hand side there, you can see a massive river valley. I'm pretty sure that's the Clarence River. And that's been there a long, long time. We'll just zoom in a little. And if we had the scale, we'd probably see a Brisbane River there as well, I would think. So there you go. Well, so getting back to Rob's question, why is William Street so hard? Well, it's hard because it's been squashed. I think that the fault has compressed it. This is when they were putting up the Southeast Freeway. The rocks were exposed, probably the last time they would be for a long time. I just thought it was a cool old picture. But I don't remember. This is a bit before my time, just a little bit before my time, I think. Here's a photo of the shales. This is the Narranlee Fernvale shales. By the way, Narranlee Fernvale comes from Narang, Beenleigh and Fernvale. Put together, that's where the name comes from. And it's really hard stuff here. It really is. Look at that. The river's been hooking into that for years, hasn't done anything to it. So these shales can look like this, which is just a argillitic type shale. You can smack this up with your fingernails. You can hit it with a pocket knife. It'll fall to bits. I think I took this up in the top end of Brisbane somewhere, up near one of those old houses. And it can be really soft. You can just get in there with a pocket knife. You can hit it with a hammer. It'll just blow apart. Yeah, this is probably not going to turn into a William Street hill. But if you look at the foliations on this thing are curved. Now, all sedimentary rocks lay down horizontally. So when you get something like this, it's called an anticline. The rocks on the inside get compressed and the rocks on the outside get stretched. The stretched ones get weaker and the compressed ones get stronger. A lot stronger sometimes, especially if there's heat involved. So you can easily see this in Brisbane next time you catch a train at Central Station, because Central Station's got some awesome rock formations in the walls. Don't miss your train. But placing over on platform 5, this is what's in the walls of Central Station. Now this stuff is hard. This is not shale, I'll tell you. This stuff's been metamorphosed. This is schist. You hit this with a hammer, it rings like a bell. It's full of quartz. It's been injected with quartz over the years. They dug tunnels in it because they're self-supporting, some of these tunnels. They don't even need liners. So yeah, this is Central Station. And I love these rock formations. It's twisted and folded. Now all those striations you see in that, the foliations, they were laid down vertically. Not vertically, horizontally. They're vertical now because it's all been moved. Anyway, that's why William Street's where it is, because it's harder. And he's right about Wheat Creek. You must go and watch Rob's video. It's a really good video. His take on Brisbane settlement, very different to mine because he's more of a historian and a studier of people than I am. But certainly, it's a very entertaining video, and I thoroughly recommend you go and see it. Anyway, still working on Gobies Tree Creek. I know I say that every time, but I don't know. It's just such a boring creek. Not really. Anyway, keep rocking. T-Rock's out.